Listen up, everyone. We need to talk about something that's really important and could affect all of us. We live in a world where we rely heavily on technology, and there's one piece of technology that we all use without even thinking about it: GPS. But I think we've reached a point where we're actually so overly reliant on GPS that at this point, a GPS failure could cause massive catastrophic damage to our society. What do you think, guys? Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Playing jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, tandläkare at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
Så ska vi sätta en till.
Ja. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get over the floor. Open the door.
Wrong
Open the
voice
door.
command. Error.
Hey, medium. With a rock. Open door. Open door. Higher.
Higher volume.
Higher.
Higher.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of funny. But this video touches on a very important message here. Do you guys remember when Facebook failed on all of us for a hot minute? A lot of people could not access their doors, their phones, even their money. And it's these little things that tech has really pushed on us. They say it's for convenience, but there's definitely a push for reliance on these things as well. Part of the bigger picture, if you know what I mean. A friend of mine told me about how on a Friday morning, they tried to make an outgoing call and they got an error message that the network was congested. It's already started happening. I mean, I've never heard of something like that before. I'm talking about heavy manufacturing, transportation, military operations, power grids, cell phones, the internet, you name it. Tech and GPS is involved. And if it gets disrupted or tampered with or even taken down, we could be in for serious trouble. We're not just talking about getting lost or having to use a map. We can get around that. What we're talking about is a complete breakdown of our critical infrastructure, leaving us vulnerable to attacks, power outages, and even communication blackouts. And the worst part is that we're not even doing enough to protect ourselves from these potential threats. We need to take action to safeguard ourselves, our families, our communities from the fallout of a potential GPS failure. So what can we do? We'll explore some ways to protect ourselves, but it's important to start taking this seriously. We can't afford to be complacent anymore. The clock is ticking, folks. We need to act fast and start preparing for the worst case scenarios. So let's get to it and make sure that we're ready for whatever comes our way. Let me know what you guys think. Has society been taken over by technology? Drop me a quick yes or no down in the comments down below. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below of this video. And while you guys are doing that, let me go ahead and just jump right into today's hot topic, all right? So guys, let's talk GPS. You know that little app on your phone that tells you exactly where to go? Yeah, that GPS. And so back in the day, we had these clunky GPS devices that you probably mount on your car windshield, but now we just use our phones for everything. I mean, who needs a sense of direction when you have Google telling you where to turn right and where to turn left? It's crazy how reliant we are on GPS, especially the younger generation. I mean, have you seen them? I mean, they can't even find their way out of the bathroom without GPS. And if you're guilty of it too, don't worry. You're not alone. But seriously, do you guys even know how to get to your favorite coffee shop without GPS? Now, imagine if GPS just stopped working, like completely gone. You'd be lost. And not just you, but everybody else who relies on GPS to get around. Not to mention, there's tons of apps on your phone that you don't even realize are leveraging GPS just to work. No more turn left in 200 yards or go straight for 2 miles. Nope, you're on your own. And don't even get me started on those people who use GPS to go to the same place every single day. They never actually memorize their daily route. So if GPS goes out, they're in trouble. No maps, no sense of direction, just pure confusion. Now, I will be honest with you, a lot of times I use GPS to go to the places I already know, but I use that just to make sure that there's no unforeseen traffic that I might just drive into. But anyway, I digress. But look, I know we all love our GPS, but we need to start thinking about what we would do without it. So let's just start learning how to read a map, memorize some routes, and be prepared for anything. Because one day, the little blue dot might just disappear. So like GPS isn't just for finding your way around anymore. It's also like a timekeeper for all your devices. You know how your watch gets all messed up, but your phone is always on point? That's thanks to GPS, dude. And not just the internet. If you turn off your network and internet, your phone will still be able to keep time because it uses GPS to do it. Crazy, right? But here's the deal, guys. If GPS goes out for a while, it's not just going to mess up your directions. It could also mess up your whole phone. When too many phones try to use the same cell towers without being synced up by GPS, things can get all mixed up and your calls might not even work anymore. And then the internet could stop working too. And this is because GPS is kind of like it's built into the internet code, and without it, all of the timing stuff would be off. So like we really need GPS to keep things running smoothly, you know? And so that is why countries, including the United States, get their own GPS satellites. Yeah, like China and Russia are like, we don't need no US technology. But here's the thing. You can actually buy these devices called signal boosters for like $60 or $70 that can totally jam your GPS signals. Now, of course, it's totally illegal to own or use them in the United States, but you can still get your hands on them. You know, through the black market, of course. And if some random dude can do it, just imagine what a real bad guy could do. They could jam GPS over a larger area, like around a bank, or even knock satellites out of orbit. That would be a major problem considering how much we rely on GPS these days. And we can't underestimate the potential catastrophic consequences if GPS systems were to fail. I mean, this goes beyond just our cell phones and internet access. I mean, think financial markets, stocks, banks, ATMs, checkout counters. Financial systems are particularly vulnerable since they rely heavily on precise timing provided by GPS. We've already witnessed flash crashes in the stock market caused by GPS timing issues, resulting in millions of dollars lost by investors. Now consider the upcoming digital dollar and the Federal Reserve's payment system, FedNow, which are highly dependent on GPS. Any disruption or malicious interference could wreak havoc on their entire financial system. The consequences would be far-reaching and devastating for businesses, for governments, and most especially the average working class American. And what tech companies don't really want people to know about is that they're also easily vulnerable. The threat is not just from solar flares, natural disasters, hostile actors, hackers, or even just a random person with a GPS jammer could potentially cause widespread chaos. And don't even get me talking about EMPs. I mean, we have to take this issue seriously and ensure the security and the stability of our GPS systems before it's too late. GPS jammers can be so effective. I mean, you can blanket out the signal pretty easily. And that's a big problem for emergency services. They use GPS to track their units and figure out where to send them. And it's not just emergency services. Utility repair crews, police departments, and a whole lot of other organizations depend on GPS to know where their people are and what they need to do. So if GPS goes down, it's not just going to mess up your phone's directions, it's going to cause a lot of chaos. And transportation is a huge deal. Nowadays, most rail cars have GPS on them so the computer systems can keep track of where they are. Sure enough, don't need any more train derailment, certainly due to the lack of GPS signal, right? Now, one important aspect that people seem to overlook is air travel. Back in the 90s, the FAA shifted to GPS navigation, resulting in the shutdown of numerous ground-based navigation facilities in favor of GPS. For the majority of current aircraft, GPS serves as a primary source of navigation. Air navigation needs 4 reliable signals from 4 separate GPS satellites, so disrupting just one of them can actually have a significant impact. And the same goes for shipping containers. They got their own GPS transmitters so that the ports can know exactly where they are and what they contain. But if they lost their GPS, it would be a complete disaster. And vehicles, they can be affected too. Hackers can mess with your car's GPS tracker and do all sorts of crazy things like making your car shut down or messing with anti-theft devices. I mean, just think about all of these self-driving cars nowadays. How do you think they're moving around and navigating the streets? And so if your car can't get a GPS signal, it might not even work properly. It's crazy. The US military and other militaries around the world rely heavily on it as well. But here's the scary part. A study back in 2016 showed that 70% of the US Army's major systems require GPS. And we're not just talking about the Army either. The Navy and the Air Force are also heavily reliant. And the worst part is that for just $60 or $70, anybody could buy a GPS jamming device. And this is not a joke, guys. People with malicious intent can cause a GPS blackout over a large area. And there are rumors of state actors planning to do much worse to their satellites themselves, causing GPS to go out. We need to take this threat seriously. Are you guys prepared for a GPS blackout? Listen up, because this is urgent. Are you ready to function without your precious cell phone? Do you even know anyone who can operate a ham radio in your area? Ham radios are crucial backup communication devices when cell phones fail, which they inevitably will. And what about power? You may have to create your own power grid if there's no juice coming into your home. Solar storms, EMPs, GPS malfunctions, they can all wipe out power, leaving you stranded. It could be as simple as one rogue individual with a GPS jammer causing major problems. They just need to find the GPS timing relays and target them and disrupt power grids and cell phone communications. Hackers have already proven that they can manipulate electronic devices using GPS, so don't be caught unprepared. We need to know the implications of these potential disasters and also, more importantly, how to be prepared for them. And the same goes for tech stocks. Investors are pretty hyped about AI in the ChatGPT era, and that's led to some serious hot stocks on the US stock market. But now, some analysts are saying that things are getting tougher for the tech sector since the Federal Reserve is signaling higher interest rates than expected. The S&P 500 information technology sector has been killing it this year, up around 11%, making it the top performer out of the 11 groups that are tracked on the S&P 500. Now, at one point, it even went to 18% after hitting a low back in October. People were getting pumped about AI, thinking that the Fed might cut interest rates and treasury yields are falling. But now the analysts are warning that higher interest rates aren't going to help the tech sector. Quote, "You know when they talk about stocks with a promise, it means all the good stuff is still far away in the future. Even Microsoft's chatbot is still not fully up and not running yet. So higher interest rates are like a real bummer for those hopes and dreams," end quote. Tech is pretty pricey these days. Lots of companies got bigger during the pandemic, and now they're having to lay off thousands of people just to kind of get back on track. And like I said, guys, it could all fail. And then where would we all be? But what do you guys think? It's never a good idea to digitize everything. Social security, bank accounts, cash, medical records. It's just not. I never thought it was a good idea. You should always have a backup. Just some harsh truths for you guys about tech. And I do think that you appreciate me telling you guys the truth about everything, right? I mean, that's why we're all here together, right? To work together toward our own financial freedom goals and to learn from each other in this uncertain world. Well, that's it for our prime grade A lockdown and today's tech news update and daily financial report. How GPS is actually making us all vulnerable and how investors are leaning a little bit too much on tech stocks. Also, for the best way to invest in gold, hit the link in the description down below this video. More updates coming as long as you guys are watching and liking the videos. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys for always dropping a like for the videos. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Please be kind to one another and y'all be safe.